Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Pittsburgh Curling Club and to TropiCurl 2025. Our action this afternoon on our feature sheet, which is Sheet B, is going to feature Team Ferda from the Bucks County Curling Club and Team Potomac Shores from the Potomac Curling Club. Our team from Bucks County, Team Ferda, will be throwing the red stones, and Potomac Shores won the coin toss and elected to take hammer and will be throwing yellow. So 2 guards up immediately here to start the action in the first end. So both teams coming out a little bit aggressive. Today is the second game for every team, so we'll see some more aggressive strategies most likely throughout the day as teams have started to figure out the ice. They know what the rocks are going to do, what the curl's going to be like, and they'll start playing a little more aggressively, a little earlier in each game. My name's Trevor Matthey, one of the many voices of the Pittsburgh Curling Club here on our YouTube channel. I'll be with you this afternoon. A wall of guards are here early in the first end. And that stone will crash on the guard, so 5 guards now in play. If you're not familiar with curling, the first 5 stones of every end are considered free guards. So if you put a stone in the guard zone, meaning it has crossed the hog line but is not in the house, you cannot remove that stone from play if you're the other team. So 5 rocks thrown, the free guard zone period is over. We're not playing the no-tick rule here at TropiCurl, so rocks on the center line can be moved, just not taken out of play. And another crash on a guard here will push Team Ferda's stone up into the top 12-foot. Lots of action here at the Pittsburgh Curling Club this weekend. This is our feature sheet stream showing Sheet B, but you can check out the other games going on around the ice on our main stream. Over on Sheet A, 2 more Bucks County teams in action. And over on sheet D, Team Breeden from St. Catharines Curling Club and Team Bauer, a combination of curlers from Buffalo, Rochester, and Utica. So Ferda from Bucks County sitting shot stone at the moment. Ferda puts that right on the button, so sitting 2. And we'll see what our Vice from Potomac Shores can come up with here. So Bucks County still sits 2. And a successful guard delivered there by Ferda. So that'll force another hit from Potomac Shores. Almost makes a double, but just slightly too far over the top of that red shot stone, so taps it out into the open a hair. But the house stays status quo here with our Bucks County team sitting 2. And sweeping hard just to get that one across the hog line. If that was just a touch to the left, really it wouldn't be in a bad spot at all, but just over curls a little bit on them there. And so being that it's so far away from the house, that guard not really stopping Potomac from continuing their game plan here to try to get that shot stone off the button. So our team from Potomac trying to get down into the house here. There is some room if they can get just to the top of that red stone. They can sit shot, sweeping this one hard all the way down the ice. Can they get it there? It's trying to slow up. They're sweeping hard. And they will take this rock just short. What an impressive sweep there. Great work by the sweepers, trying to take it as far as they can. They do outcount the second Bucks County stone. So a good stone to limit damage there, and really just a few inches away from perfection. So Bucks here looking to just put another stone anywhere in that hole. Block things up and try to get their steal of one here early in end number one of this game. And I'm not sure that's quite what they meant to do, but they actually give themselves another shot stone, so they'll sit 1-2. But you can see them trying to line this shot up there. They think they've got just enough space that they can throw a hit around that high guard and punch that red stone right off the button. If you can make this work and hit it with enough momentum, you still actually have a chance at 2 here if you're Potomac. But if you can at least make contact with it, you should limit the damage to just 1. So we'll see what they can do here. Waiting, now calling for a push, trying to encourage that rock to curl. And boy, oh boy, is that close. At least 1 for Ferda. The question is it a steal of 2? Not totally clear there, so we'll have to wait and see what score they hang. A steal either way, so the hammer will stay with Potomac Shores. And a center line guard there from Team Ferda. So again, to start the second end here, immediately aggressive play. Starting to set up that steal once again. This stone makes contact with Team Ferda, but it's heavy though, and we'll see if they can sweep it all the way out of the back of the house. And they do. So again, free guard zone rules here, because that was one of the first 5 rocks of the end. You cannot remove the other team's stone from play. So the guard for Team Ferda will go back. The Potomac Shores stone will be taken out of play. So it's not too often you see a skip trying to frantically sweep their own stones out of play. Just one of those fun little quirks of the free guard zone. And now Bucks County throwing another center guard. And they'll also be perfectly happy if this goes all the way in, which it does, and settles nicely into the top of the 4-foot. So Potomac can remove that stone because it's in the house. So we'll see if they elect some sort of lightweight hit here or just try to draw down to it. Still no score hung by the teams down at the other end there, so unclear if the score is 1 or 2-0 for Team Ferda at the moment. So a hit coming here for Bucks County. Removes the Potomac stone, rolls over in front of their other, and sits 2. If you're just joining us, this might not be the game you expected to see on Sheet B. An unfortunate medical emergency for one of our teams from Columbus, so we're wishing them the best at the moment. And we've moved a game from Sheet C over to our feature sheet here. So this is Team Ferda versus Team Potomac Shores, teams from the Bucks County and Potomac curling clubs. We also have games going on Sheets A and D at the moment. We have another stream that is live if you're interested. So Bucks County sits shot, but Potomac trying to get right down on top of it. And they are sweeping this one for every inch they can get out of it, taking it over to that red stone and perfectly frozen on top of it. Excellent sweep there. Really nice little corner freeze that'll make it quite difficult to get rid of. And so as expected here, Team Ferda electing to go after that stone that's in the top of the 8-foot circle. Trying to make a double. They'll happily sacrifice their own stone in the back if they're able to make the shot. Sweeping this one hard for line. And absolutely wonderful shot there. Great throw, great sweep. Double made and cut it so thin their back or rock actually stayed around in the back of the house as well. So really well executed there from Team Ferda. And that's going to mean the rest of this end is going to continue to be a hit game. Potomac just working now to keep things open so that they can try and score with their last few stones. Again, for those of you who may have just joined us, the score is at least 1 in favor of Team Ferda. They stole 1 or 2 points in the first end. It was so close we couldn't tell from the overhead view, and the teams have not hung a score yet. So Team Ferda is in the lead. Just unsure by how much at the moment. And teams trading hits here as we approach skip stones in the second end. Waiting patiently, really hoping this one comes back. There's a lot of late break and taps the red, so shoots it sideways just enough to accomplish the job. So not the way they drew it up, but as they say in golf, no pictures on the scoreboard, so shot accomplished. And now we're going to see a draw here from Team Ferda. Still a good chance for them to try to steal or set up the end in a manner that forces Potomac to a force of 1. This a little heavy, and we'll see if the sweep's going to be able to take it out of play. He's on it right away, and he will escort that rock right back out of the house, in the front door and out the back. So now we'll see if Potomac can find a skip's deuce. And hoping to draw around underneath one of those red corners. Calling hard for some sweeping. Kind of caught in between here. This rock needs to curl, but it also needs the weight. And it will not quite finish under cover. Just a little bit unlucky there, really. They had to sweep for the weight, but when you're sweeping that early, the rock's going to stay straighter just that extra little bit longer. So they didn't quite get the finish of curl they needed to get under cover. And now Team Ferda going to try to make that rock go away and potentially even flop underneath their corner guard and really put the force on. This is looking nice. We'll see if it has the weight to remove the Yellowstone completely. It does. However, they don't get any roll. They make contact right on the nose, so it'll be up to Potomac to decide if they want to try and just hit right on the nose and stick around and score their 1 point, or if they want to get a little more risky and try to just catch half a rock here and roll out and blank the end and try again in end number 3. Sometimes in curling, it's not always important to score every end, especially at the club and amateur level. Oftentimes you'll see folks get really hung up in wanting to always be shot or always score, but strategy sometimes dictates that you blank and not score and try again in the next end, and that's exactly what Potomac's going to do. So well thrown stone there makes the blank, and they will reset. And it looks like we do finally have a score put up down there at the other end. So Team Ferda did just score 1 in end number 1. So that'll make the score 1-0 as we head into end number 3 after a blank in end number 2. And we'll see what Potomac can come up with as they reset and try again. So just a touch heavy there on stone number 1. The ice here this weekend at the Pittsburgh Curling Club, plenty of speed, plenty of curl. It is very muggy here in Pittsburgh, so lots of humidity, lots of moisture in the air. So the stones can be a little bit unpredictable. If you throw a stone and it catches some frost, it might really slow down. But if the very next stone goes right down that same line, it can all of a sudden be 6 or 8 feet heavier, really unexpectedly. So it just adds that extra little bit of thinking to sweepers' weight calls and skips line calls. So well-placed corner guard there from Potomac Shores. And Ferda going to elect to just continue their strategy of playing to the middle and throws up a perfect center guard this time, so not too heavy there. Leaves it right on the center line. And it looks like Potomac electing to forego the second corner guard and just immediately start to try and throw some draws here. this curling hard, trying to keep it straight, get it around the red guard. They do. Will it pop out the other side? It's got a lot of weight, and it will come out the other side and actually go right through the house. So a little heavy on the draw there. And now Ferda electing to go around their own guard and play to the middle. Set up that steal strategy once again. And just over curls a little bit, crashes on their guard, a little lighter than he wanted to throw that. 15.6 seconds hog to hog time there, so ideally on the ice currently, if you want to get around your guard there, you need about a 14.5 second hog to hog time. And again, we're out of the free guard zone period, so Potomac electing to remove a stone there and try to just leave space for themselves to operate. They do essentially have two corner guards at this point. And just approaching the halfway point of the end, so still a good chance for Potomac to set up a scoring opportunity. Waiting, hoping for this to curl. And now they'll try to finish it. And they do, right into the 4-foot undercover. Well executed shot there. You can see there is just a sliver of it peeking out. And when the skip taps their foot like that, they're calling for hack weight. So a very lightweight hit. And this one, a little too light and thrown a little bit inside, so it'll crash on the guard. And actually, the rock for our team from Bucks County actually hangs around out there in the edge of the 12-foot circle, so sitting 2. But Potomac, knowing that rock not likely to matter in the end, choosing to leave it alone and hit this rock out of the 4-foot circle. They've also got their 2 guards they can roll under and still try to set up the end. So guards coming here from Ferda. And this stone does just get into the house, but does its job. Blocks the shot stone. And going to force Potomac back into a hit game here. So every end so far, Ferda has found a way to turn this into a hit game for Potomac. And we'll see if they can come up with some shots here. This one sailing, and it will sail right on by. Just misses contact with both those stones. A little unfortunate there. Again, the ice very quick here. So if you miss your line by just an inch or two, It will not come back. It is unforgiving out there this weekend. So another guard coming here from Verda. This one over curling a little bit, so they'll come off it and just hope it sits. And it does over curl just a hair, so the double opportunity still there for Potomac. Again, they've been unsuccessful so far in dialing in these hits, and this one also wide. And wash, rinse, and repeat there for Potomac Shores. Just misses both stones by an inch again. And now, with the team from Bucks County sitting 3 stones, they're going to elect yet another guard, it looks like, although the skip maybe caught in a little bit of indecision there on how aggressive he wants to get, but looks like he's decided to go back for the guard again. And again, they're hoping for this rock to settle down and stop curling. Doesn't curl quite as far as the last one, but still does leave those 2 reds exposed. Although it looks like Potomac here discussing a change of strategy and realizing those guards might help them out if they can make a raise. So they'll try and hit their own yellow stone. And not sure which one exactly they're going to try and make contact with, but the goal is to send one of these 2 stones over into the middle there, make contact with that red, make it go away, and then you would be sitting there underneath all those other guards. Really, either stone an option there to make that shot. This looks tight out of the hand. And they do call the sweep, but this is going to over curl. And this stone will make contact with the center line guard. Roll over. Now they're going to try and sweep it in just to sit with 1 in the house at least, but it doesn't quite roll enough. And so seeing the change in strategy, the team from Bucks County realizing maybe we should take that shot away instead. So they'll go up to throw a guard as well. So the guard on the way here. This one is diving quite a bit. They're going to just hope it gets over and settles. And it does. Both teams struggling a little bit with how much the ice is curling. You're seeing them put a lot of brooms down on the edge of the 8-foot circle there when they want to draw. And really, there's about 5 feet of curl. So needed another foot and a half of broom there probably to end up in a spot that would have guarded the yellow raises. So we'll see what Potomac decides to do here. This is a risky shot. If you try the raise again and make a mistake, you give up 3. Whereas if you maybe throw a draw down the other way, you could just go down to that rock that's in the 4-foot and at least just give up 1 instead. Score's only 1-0, and it's early in the game, so wouldn't be a bad idea, but it looks like they're going to continue to be aggressive and try to make this shot here.
Given the amount of curl, why would you just not throw a heavy draw? And if you happen to tap a yellow in, you're at least cutting him down. But you can easily get to the side of the button drawing on this right-hand side.
Yes, hopefully you heard that comment. I've got the newly elected president of the Pittsburgh Curling Club here, Dustin Devine, sitting next to me, and he raises the question, well, maybe you throw a heavy draw and try to get to the button there. You could actually probably get around. There's so much curl, and perhaps maybe you plan B, raise the yellow, but they're going straight for the raise, and this is going to over curl. Makes contact, kind of caught in between, but it at least sticks around just enough to still cut Team Ferda down to 1. So a steal by Bucks County of 1 stone. And we go to end number 4. And back here at end number 4. Team Ferda electing the same strategy they've gone with every end so far. Center line guard, and it's worked out so well for them to this point.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Trevor. That's the key.
Absolutely.
Looks like Potomac's trying to draw around and take advantage of that as well. Of that center line guard. If you're going to throw him, let me beat you to underneath him first.
Absolutely. So, the score still not out of hand here by any means. Only 2-0 gives them the opportunity to play to the center instead. So that one ends up as a corner guard. And likely that means Team Ferda going to go right underneath here again and try to set up another steal.
Sweeping out just to try and hold the line, gets right by the guard. Coming in now, it's going to rest here in the top 12, top 8 foot. Very nice shot.
Yeah, so well thrown there. Great weight. Does poke out kind of into the middle and leaves potentially a shot right through the hole. But it looks like Potomac calling for a draw here.
It's a tight port, and I don't think you're not forced to test it just yet. You still have some time. Of course, they throw another guard in there as well. It's going to limit that, but I think there are safer shots to try here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that stone really, leaves plenty of room still to curl around and sit shot, so that's exactly what Potomac's going to try to do.
Good weight on this one. Can they carve it over enough? They're trying to carve it into the house.
And go, 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 push, push, push.
They'll be shot and pretty close to buried behind that yellow guard.
Yeah, great team effort there. Nice throw, put it in the sweeper's hands. Sweeper's able to take it over. But it looks like Ferda thinks they can see just enough of it. And they're going to make a play on it here.
They can take a play on it. They also can just try and get rid of that guard as well. So even wrecking the guard and spilling it over is not bad, but just
can he get around? Yes, he does. What a sweep. Excellent sweep there. Great teamwork, great throw, great sweep. And here we go again. Bucks County back to sitting with multiple stones in the house, continuing to put the pressure on the team from Potomac. And a raise opportunity here for Potomac. But a little bit of a late sweep call lets this over curl,
nice.
But they'll catch the outside stone. So a solid backup plan there. Does at least remove a stone for Bucks County, but the Potomac stone sitting exposed once again, and Ferda happy to make that stone go away.
Potomac looks like you're trying to either run back the guard or peel the guard, either way, trying to open that middle back up and at least get access to that red stone sitting in the house. Peels the guard nicely. Of course, Bucks County will just put it back, but that's nice because now it opens the double up.
Absolutely, and the way the ice has been so far, again, teams really sometimes struggling to find the line on these, so you're really forcing Team Ferda to dial that line in perfectly and not over curl.
What's up, Dusty? Hey, man. Looks like the shot's on the way. This one just gonna be another close guard. Looks like trying to block up the double. Has enough on it. Sweepers aren't really working on it yet, and you're now trying to just hold the line so it doesn't over curl as it comes in to the end. But that's going to be pretty close and coming right down now to line those three diagonally across. Wow. A little Ryan's belt there at the top of Joe Magneto's hand.
Yeah, happy accident there for Team Ferda. Not what they meant to do, but putting the stones at such an angle that really difficult for Potomac to remove a lot of them and stick around.
Potomac now just needs to make contact and get some separation in them. You're not going to get them all out, but you can at least get them moving a little bit to give yourself a little bit of space for future shots. As this one's on its way with plenty of zip.
And pushing, trying to make sure they make contact with at least 2 stones. They do. Well thrown there.
And get rid of 2. Very nice. So you're sitting second shot exposed now, but you really limited the damage now that Bucks County can put on you. Now Bucks County coming down, looking to make just contact with that yellow roll back to the middle. Stone curling nicely here as it comes in. Catches a good quarter of it and spills out a little bit. It's going to roll to the back of the 8-foot. So exposed now on the back of the 8-foot, but sitting 2. Potomac just electing to try a hit and just a tiny little flop to get underneath that guard and sit shot rock, since that back rock is so deep.
Yeah, that stone rolling all the way back there almost to the 12-foot really makes the hit and roll much less likely to be successful, as if you're off by just an inch or 2, you're going to roll out no matter what you do. So electing the hit, and as you said, flop here. A little wide, though, pushing this all the way over to just try to make contact. They do, and
jams on the back and holds the red rock in. Yellow also stays, but way out in the wings. So if you're Bucks County now, do you even worry about that yellow rock, or you just come right back to the middle?
Yep, just depends on how aggressive you want to be here. You're really trying to set up the steal, or are you trying to make sure that set up the big steal, or are you trying to make sure that Potomac just scores as little as possible?
What would you call here, Trevor?
Well, I think if it's me, I'd probably hit the yellow stone out.
Okay.
You're already up to, you've really been putting the pressure on all game by making sure Potomac does not have any big scoring chances.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the ice is curling a lot and unpredictable, so throwing a hit that wide is a scary decision.
If being that far on the weeds, the only thing that would give me a little bit of pause.
And if you miss, all of a sudden, now Potomac's looking at, hey, we can hit your stone out and be sitting 2 with a split house and have a great chance to tie this thing up. So probably one of those, what's the skip comfortable with, and whatever your shooter is more comfortable throwing is what you call. And they're going to try to dig to push this over underneath the guard, sweeping hard all the way. And excellent work there. What a sweep.
Very
Gets
nice.
it almost fully across the center line.
And that's key, too, because if that stayed out there, it would leave a run-back double that you could possibly jam it all the way back onto the back rock. Now, being buried, you're only going to catch a piece of it, which is going to split everything way out to the sides. So.
Absolutely. So often you're almost happy to leave those little peekers there where just a tiny little portion of the rock is saying, hi, please come hit me.
Yeah. Like, oh no, I didn't quite get there. Oh no, I hope no one hits me. But really, it's what you want them to do, because it's wasting a rock, and likely you're not going to hit it at that angle thin enough and keep anything in the house.
Absolutely.
So it looks like we're electing to draw the other side now, trying to give this left side a go. And especially with that back rock and the rock in the back of the 8-foot now, you could sit in the side of the 4-foot and have a little bit of backing even if you don't get completely underneath cover.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even if you freeze to that back stone, if you're a little heavy and just make a freeze there, you're sitting shot.
Yeah.
And still have your chance at 2. Not enough line really for that call though, so they're going to have to get underneath. And boy, oh boy, this just...
too light out of hand, and it just dove.
Yeah, not sure if that rock was just thrown that light or picked something up on the way down the sheet, but really acted funny on him there, dove sideways.
An unfortunate unfortunate miss there and a key time. So now Bucks County looking to draw underneath, add another stone there into the 4 foot and really apply the pressure.
Yeah, the 2 basically off the table now for Potomac, so if you're Ferda, you've got the opportunity once again to go full-on aggression here and set up a big steal potentially. If you could put this rock just on the top of the 4 foot underneath your red that you just threw, you've got a great opportunity. So the final rock of the 4th end for Team Ferda on the way. Sweepers on this immediately. They have got to go hard. All 3 people sweeping now. The emotional support sweep from the skip, or from the vice, excuse me. Sweeping hard. Not going to be able to get it past their own stone, though. And leaves them sitting right beside each other. So that's going to force Potomac to try again with this draw down the left-hand side of the sheet.
I think they're just more comfortable trying to draw this side as much as those other stones were running straight on that right side. You really need to be able to try and hook it into the 4 foot. You just have to now make sure you have the right weight.
Absolutely. I'm almost surprised they didn't take a little more ice here even. All you need to do is just you don't even need to touch the 4 foot. You just need to get close to it.
Oh.
And you're risking here hitting those red stones. And again, this stone
Hit
diving
that patch,
hard,
yeah.
hooking like crazy. It is going to miss fire.
Something on that line just takes all the weight off of it, and they are just grinding. So.
And that will be a steal of 3 for Team Ferda, so nothing but steals going on so far. And as we head into the 5th end, that is going to make the score 5-0.
Definitely not the hole you want to dig yourself into, but, you know, if you can get that, they're not playing a bad game. It's just having, you know, a couple key misses on time, and if they're just a little bit better on line or a little bit better on weight. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. Not throwing, you know, excessively bad, just a little bit unlucky, and unlucky at the wrong times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every mistake they've made has allowed Ferda to adjust strategies. In the 3rd end, it was a quick change of play from all of a sudden Team Ferda immediately able to force a blank. And if you're Team Ferda, you're really happy then that you switched strategies there, made that blank happen in 3, and set you up to steal 3 in the 4th end.
But this first rock for Ferda here, over-curling a little bit, so now Potomac trying to throw that second corner guard, really set up the end that they want.
Thanks so much to those of you out there watching this live with us here on YouTube. Feel free to jump into the chat and join in with the action if you have any questions for us.
Or some advice, let us know what you'd throw, what you think you would change it up here, or...
Also, give us a like. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Help us out with those social media algorithms out there.
Yep. Last stone tapping just straight back, but now sitting back button. Potomac electing to come right after that shot, not wanting to allow Bucks County to set up the ends as they have with one in the house and then building a wall in front of it.
Yeah, you don't usually want to say the pressure's on 3 stones into an end, but the way things are unfolding here, every single end for Potomac, probably saying, boy, we just cannot let that stone sit there.
Come right down through, a little tick, a little roll out to the side, so it clears the shot rock out and sits just about half buried there at the edge of the 4-foot.
Yeah, very well executed stone there.
Now you're almost making Bucks County play against their own game. Now I have a little corner peeking out.
Absolutely. Potomac finally able to flip the script here a little bit and turn things into a hit game for Bucks County, at least for a stone or two here. The question is, will Bucks County make a perfect raise?
Wow.
And of course they will.
I could tell as soon as I made contact with my guard, like that is right where they needed to hit that and clear the house completely. But if you're Potomac, you still now have 2 guards to work with.
Absolutely. You still got a chance here. Throw your draws, set up your end. A reminder for everyone, we do have 2 streams going on here, so this is our feature sheet between Team Ferda from the Bucks County Curling Club and Potomac Shores from the Potomac Curling Club. We also have action on Sheets A and Sheet D right now that can be seen over on our main stream.
So a nice draw there by Potomac, getting it under cover, but a little heavy, so we're sitting in the back of the house. Ferda now electing to draw, hit through the port, chip out the Potomac rock. Sweeping hard for the line to try and hold it to keep it from curling off of those guards. Just skinnies the yellow guard. Oh my goodness. What a shot. There was no daylight there between that guard and that.
Not at all, and boy, oh boy, this Bucks County team just cannot miss so far this afternoon.
The Potomac team wants to know what hotel features horseshoes and lucky and 4-leaf clovers in the continental breakfast, because they're going to stay there next year. Obviously, the Bucks County team has found it.
Absolutely. So the same shot on the way here for Potomac, and again sweeping hard and just makes it by, returns the favor.
Anything you can do, I can do better, they say.
And here we go again. Can the teams go 3 for 3? Team Ferda certainly going to try. The sweepers think this one has a little more weight to it.
Looks a little bit wider now,
So
too.
hoping for some curl, and it will just sneak past their own stone, make contact with the Potomac rock. Remove it, and will it hang around? Yes, just biting the back 12. Luck fully in favor of Team Ferda this game. Or skill. Maybe we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say they meant to hit and roll and stick around in the back 12.
You can't be lucky all the time. Some of the time, maybe. Not all the time. Potomac trying to draw again, trying to set this back up. All right, we still have our guards. Try and get it behind our yellow.
This stone floating, and floating, and it is going to be escorted right out of the back of the house.
now Bucks County trying to decide, what do we want to do? Do we want to try and remove some of these guards so Potomac can't hide behind them? Do we want to throw another one in the house?
They've been throwing so well, I imagine they're going to try this draw here to the top of the 4-foot. But it is risky. If you don't get underneath the cover, you can leave yourself exposed and leave potential for hits or hit and rolls that can set up an end for Potomac. But there is just so much curl out there on the ice right now. Getting under the guard, not a problem. Really, you're hoping you probably don't crash on the guard, and they're going to try to sweep this one hard not to do it. But they do just make a little rub and will do the exact thing we said could happen. Leaves their rock exposed in the house. And that's going to give Potomac an opportunity.
Exposed in the house above the tee line as well, so a little hit and roll. And now Potomac, if they can make this, has their two back in their sights.
Both teams struggling with that side of the sheet a little bit. Seems to be just a touch more curl than the other side of the sheet, and everyone over curling so far.
Sweeping this one here, trying to hold the line.
And again, an over curl here. This one barely going to make any contact at all. Does not remove the Bucks County stone, and they will lose their shooter.
With that amount of weight, you almost wonder, would they have been better off letting it wreck on the guard, kicking it through, and then keeping their rock in play. But you did roll it over to where you could have a double, but now Bucks County is going to take your eye away from that by trying to draw underneath.
Interesting here that he's given the exact same line. So he's really trusting his sweepers that they will be able to hold this rock around the stone up there. This rock narrow out of the thrower's hand. And you can hear the skip screaming for hard line, hard line.
Seems a little light as well. Trying to really sweep it past that guard. Doesn't quite get there and just rolls.
So yet another end here where 2 is still on the table for Potomac. The question is, can they find a way, one of these ends, to take advantage of it?
Yeah.
So the draw on the way.
Line looks okay so far.
Here it comes now, slowing down and trying to curl over. This rock a little heavy, though. .1 hog to hog, and that's going to allow it to be taken out the back of the house. Bucks gonna electing to throw another draw / guard here. Happy to make it through any port and throw a draw or raise one of their own red stones and have another stone counting in the house. So here we go. They're sweeping to get through the port. Will they do it? Yes, they will.
Now where
And
is
now
the stop?
can it stop? And of course it can, right in the back of the forefoot. Everything coming up Bucks County. And boy, if you're Potomac, you've had pressure shots with your final stone every single end here. And once again, throwing against 3.
And that's just, grinds on you as a skip and as an opponent. Every shot you have is a pressure shot against a mittful.
Yeah, it can really wear you down. You're like, boy, oh boy, what do I have to do to get an opportunity here?
And the scary part in this case is, yes, you can come from the right because you then have some backing, but there's 2 red guards. If you wreck on the red guard, you might be bumping another red stone in. So, okay, let's draw on the left, but now if I'm heavy, I have nothing back there to stop me. So,
yeah, so interesting here that they're electing to also try and come through this port rather than come around.
well, it helps if you've just seen the same shot. You can try and put the broom in the exact same spot, and if you could just match the speed, match the line, you should have the same result, which would at least give them their 1.
Yeah, but boy, oh boy, if you accidentally touch one of those red guards.
Which is why they're sweeping now hard
And
to try and
this
keep it off of it.
is diving hard. They have got to go, and this is not gonna make it.
Now, did it lose enough steam to not dump it in? Yes.
And another steal. 3 rocks. And that'll be an end
handshakes.
to this game. That'll take us to handshakes. So just not a day for the team from Potomac. Team Ferda solidly ahead all game, just getting all the shots to fall their way. And that'll end the game with a score of 8-0 in favor of Team Ferda from the Bucks County Curling Club. Close games on both our other sheets, so feel free to jump over to our main stream. Sheets A and D both have tie games currently going on. One in the 5th end and one in the 6th. So head on over to that stream. Thanks, as always, for hanging out with us and watching some curling. I'm Trevor Matthew on behalf of Dustin Devine. Thanks for watching and have a great day.